Yep. I now call up H.R. 3504. The clerk will begin reading the bill.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 3504, offered by Mr. Bilirakis. Strike after all the enacting clause and insert the following. Section 1, short title.
I believe the clerk is not. Clerk will suspend. I think there's some confusion. H.R. 3504.
H.R. 3504 to amend Title 38 United States Code to provide for improvements to the specially adapted housing program.
The text was circulated in advance pursuant to committee rules without objection. The first reading is dispensed with. I now recognize Mr. Bilirakis to offer an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
The clerk will designate the amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 3504, offered by Mr. Bilirakis. Strike after all the enacting clause and insert.
Text was circulated in advance pursuant to committee rules. Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with, and the substitute will be considered as original text for the purposes of amendment. Mr. Bilirakis, you are recognized for 5 minutes in support of your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for scheduling this markup on my bill, H.R. 3504, the Ryan Cools Specialty Adapted Housing Improvement Act of 2019. My amendment in the nature of a substitute would keep the base text of H.R. 3504, which makes several needed improvements to the Specially Adapted Housing, or SAH, program that helps severely injured service members and veterans adapt their homes to expand their independence. So important. I want to thank Wounded Warrior Project and Paralyzed Veterans of America for their suggestions on how to improve this program, as well as Chairman Levin for co-sponsoring this bill. Mr. Chairman, my amendment in the nature of a substitute also includes the text of H.R. 3535, which was introduced by Representative Rodney Davis and Representative Luria to improve the administration of VA's work-study program. This provision would change the way that payments are made to eligible GI beneficiaries who use the work-study program, so just to make it more efficient. This would entail a departure from the current process where the students receive payments from VA directly to a process where the school would pay the student directly. This will be done by block granting work-study money to schools, allowing them to administer the payments directly to the student. It is my expectation that by changing the way these payments are made, we can improve timeliness and accuracy of payments of this benefit to our veterans, our heroes. My amendment also includes the text of my bill, H.R. 2221, the Frye Scholarship Improvement Act, which would expand eligibility for the Frye Scholarship to certain survivors of members of the National Guard and Reserve. The current Frye Scholarship provides post-9/11 GI Bill benefits, as you know, to surviving spouses and dependent children of service members who have died while on active duty. While this benefit has provided millions of dollars to eligible survivors, I'm concerned that the current eligibility rules have left out the deserving survivors from the Guard and the Reserve components. To address this issue, Section 6 of the amendment, in the nature of a substitute, would expand eligibility for the Frye Scholarship to survivors of service members who are serving in the National Guard and Reserve and who die of a service-connected injury, but whose death did not occur while they were on active duty orders. I would like to thank the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, or TAPS, for, again, bringing this issue to our attention, and Chairman Levin for being an original co-sponsor, and Representative Barr for his advocacy. And finally, my amendment in the nature of a substitute includes an extension of the increased home loan funding fees that were enacted as part of the legislation to provide benefits to the veterans of the Blue Water Navy. I want to thank Chairman Takano and Ranking Member Rowe for their support of my amendment, and I urge adoption So I yield back, and again, I appreciate, Mr. Chairman, you bringing this up today, because it's so very important to our veterans, and it's doing so much, so we want to get it on the floor as soon as possible. I yield back. Appreciate it.